Hey everyone, it's Jenna, the Scream Queen here at Damnation Vault, and I am here with Arash of TarantisT. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Hope everyone is doing great also. Happy
Cool.
to be here.
Happy to have you here.
Pleasure.
So you just released a new song a few days ago called Revolution. So for those who may not know what's going on in Iran, what, how did what was the inspiration behind that song with everything
Okay.
that was going on?
Yeah. Well, we pronounce it Iran. It's not Iran. It's
Iraq.
Iran, but yeah. Some people may know, some may not. Since around 44 years ago, there are some occupying regime with with some insane beliefs and kind of policies. They are occupying the country. They're killing people. They are taking the freedom of everything away from people of Iran, and it's just ridiculous. It's just nasty, and with the name of like religion and some nonsense regulations that they come up with. They put regulations for the country. Women doesn't have any rights or anything. They need to be covered all the way, all over. Freedom of speech does not exist or anything, and for even not wearing a proper type of head cover or scarf or dressing for the women, you will get killed in the streets. Like, besides all the nonsenses or violations and brutal things that have been happening on that 44 years, recently, a young girl, like 22 years old girl, go to the street, travels to capital of Iran from another city, a small city, and then in the street she gets arrested because of like some strand of her hair are being out. She gets beaten in the head and not medical treatment or anything, and then she dies. She gets murdered by these crazy people, and people have been protesting a lot in the past few years. Specifically, they've been getting murdered with the war weapons inside the country, inside the streets of the different cities. This time things got worse and worse and worse. People stayed in outside. People stayed out in the streets, taking for their stand and standing for their rights. And the protests have been going and going and going. And as usual, like heavy weapons and war weapons and tanks are in the streets of different cities in Iran, killing the people for protesting. And it is not a protest anymore. It just turned out to be a huge nationwide uprising and a revolution, because people want change. People want everything to be changed. They don't not want any reform or anything in Iran. They just want these nasty people to be gone. So, and with my band, we've been always creating or writing about social political situation of the country. We've been always vocal about all those issues. And well, the history of the band, if you go through the songs, all of them are about these nonsenses that some stupid people are trying to to impose their barbarian beliefs to the whole new generation in the society. And we've been writing a lot of new songs also, most of them in Farsi specifically in these days. And then like always, we do songs in English, definitely, um, since the beginning, in basements of Tehran. Around like 22 years ago, we were very tiny and younger actually. So we can. I was right. I mean, writing songs is a part of my daily living. So I've been writing this new song and dedicated to the protest, because this is not a. I mean, dedicating it to the revolution, because this is not protest anymore. It is more violent and more aggressive than a protest. I know I'm talking a lot, but I hope I got your answer.
Wow. Your answer it gave me chills. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Um, wow, I'm kind of
I know it's not easy. I
It's
mean,
heavy. It's
you
deep.
you will see those things in like maybe some sci-fi fictional movies and things like that, even not up to that extent. But all these violent things, all these crazy things is a daily normal living of people inside Iran. Unfortunately, it's just ridiculous. And the world used to be very quiet about that. They haven't been saying anything. But recently, that's amazing that a lot of people are putting their steps into this. They are more talking about what's happening inside of the country. A lot of public figures, actors, musicians, politicians, influencers, everyone has been trying to raise awareness and participate in this. This is this is a movement that mostly women are leading it, and all the men and everyone are supporting them shoulder by shoulder. So, and it has a beautiful slogan. It's called "Woman, Life, Freedom."
Yeah. It's it is absolutely just insane to think that anything like that happens in other parts of the world.
Yeah, and and
That's
and you know
scary.
what? During all these protests, they've been arresting young kids in like elementary school or primary school, young girls. Everyone has been kidnapped, tortured, and raped into the jails and prisons. They are kidnapping people, young girls, minor girls, and they are raping them inside the prison. Why? Because their God and their prophet prefers that ridiculous type of lifestyle. That nonsense. Am I allowed to use profanity? I'm sorry. Or no?
Yes, always.
Well,
No, no censorship here.
yeah, I know that, but some made up, you know, what to tell you, regulations that God or whoever is just imposing it for the human beings. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Like, it's absurd that we have this turmoil going on in the world when we as humans all have the capacity to love and be kind. Like we do. It's
Yeah.
it's absurd, like the amount of like the egos and the power trips these so-called leaders of the world go on. And just because if you don't like conform to what they want
Mm-hmm.
you to be, that is absolutely horrifying that they will kill and torture over that. It's not right at
Yeah,
all.
like 8 years old kid got killed and murdered. 10 years old genius kid got murdered. 16 years old girl, beautiful, young, with lots of hopes and plans for her future. It's just getting killed, shot in their head with the snipers and shotguns, and it's just crazy that it is going on. And we want all the world, the entire people, the entire people of the world, whoever uh, has faith in humanity, they need to be vocal about this. They need to do something. They need to talk about this, raise awareness, because at some point these nasty people, they need to go. And then if they keep doing this, they're going to spread out into the entire world. Their ideologies should just take over the entire world.
Yeah, it's a heavy subject. Wow. Wow. To lighten it up though, you create some fucking awesome music though. Like
Thank you. I appreciate it.
it is. Like your song Voice of Revolution, like that's a cool song too, and it even has like some rap in it, which is awesome. Like
Yeah.
what were some of the musical inspirations for that song?
Well, I grew up with a lot of heavy metal music, hard rock and heavy metal music. I mean, and these riffs and these beats are, tunes of my everyday living. So it's just the second that I grab the guitar, it's just something comes up, you know. And what is happening is the major and the main influence of all the subjects, all the rhythms, all the anger into the beats and riffs, all the anger or passion into the lyrics. It's just I get it directly from monitoring the news and speaking with my friends and my family members back in Iran. So these are all combining and coming out of in the shape of music and tunes.
Yeah, yeah. So, since not all of your songs are in English and some are in, or the majority of them that I've heard are in Farsi, how do
The
you,
recent ones are in Farsi, correct. Our first two albums, TarantisM and Distorted Brains, they are in English, but the recent ones are mostly Farsi, yes.
okay, yeah, how do you, like, since music is a universal language, like, how do you feel like you are conveying your message of spreading awareness and like essentially like creating world peace through your music, like with the music itself, if people may not understand that your language.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the songs that I've been doing in Farsi. At some point, I just changed. I mean, I decided to do things in Farsi because I wanted to put a legacy in Farsi also. I forgot to mention that metal bands are not allowed in Iran. The music is not allowed unless you're getting a permission from the government, from a morality organization. The lyrics needs to be in whatever way or shape or subjects that they want. The musicians need to be to pass the to be vetted, to pass the security clearance and things like that. You cannot be independent on your own, create your stuff and post and promote them, release them. You cannot do that. Everything is being monitored and controlled heavily by the government and the officials. So metal bands, rappers, they got into the jail, they got in prison, and at some point they just gave up, or they're living outside the country like myself, and they gave up, most of them. They're not doing anything. And then I'm just trying to get back to the subject. Yeah, and then I decided to do things in Farsi because no one else was doing it. No one else was able to. And people that have been moving out to the other countries, yeah, all of us get very busy to make a living, to find a job, to adjust to the new system and new situation. So music becomes just the last priority in your life. Surviving would be the first thing. So I wanted to do things in Farsi to have something, as a legacy. And then when things like this happen, the entire world needs to know them. I mean, although we've been releasing the translation of the songs and closed captions, things like that on the videos, but still English. I mean, if it is an English, which is a mainstream language into the world, has more effect. People will listen to them more. So we switch back to English again, mostly to raise awareness. You know, when we were kids or younger, like around 20 something years ago in basement of Tehran, we were playing music in basements, 2 story down, a closet sized basement, very secretly and quietly. We've been singing in English back in the time. And that caused us to draw international attention back in MySpace era. And then press companies or different media were coming to Iran specifically to talk with us. And then we got the international exposure and then got invited to play in some festivals, even in South by Southwest, for example. And things happened from there. But back to your question, mostly because of raising awareness internationally.
Okay. When you were when the band first formed and you were like playing your music in that basement, like what was the atmosphere like, just knowing that you could very well be executed for doing something that you
Yes,
absolutely love?
definitely. We knew that. We knew that, and we were expecting it any minute to happen. But we were lucky. I mean, at some points we had incidents that we got attacked, our instruments have been broken, our friends went to the got arrested. But at some point we were kind of lucky. And by the time that the news was getting spread, we were already out of Iran. So we got invited to play shows and festivals. So we came out by that time. It was very quick. Everything happened very quick, and we were fortunate to not get killed or arrested or something like that. But the pressure was heavy. You know that any minute the door might be broken, and some brutal guys might just get in and start beating you and arresting you and taking you away. So we know
That's
the risk.
crazy.
Gambled with our life in our teenagehood.
Okay, wow, the chills.
Yeah,
It's crazy to hear this. Like it must
I
have.
know. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, I mean, bands out in the other parts of the world in normal places, they take things for granted. You just go to the store, buy instruments, you call your friends. There's a garage, there is studios, there is rehearsing rooms. You get together, and specifically these days, internet, self-produced, self-published things. It's just very easy. But back in the time, it was not. Even if they were seeing you walking into the streets having an instrument, which happened to me and a lot of my friends, you were getting harassed, you were getting beaten, you were getting arrested. That you are having a hard case or soft case instrument hidden in it. So
Wow.
yeah, this is a fucked up story. I mean, I can be proud of it, but at the same time, I can be ashamed of humanity that things can be like that.
Right. Now, when you had, it must have felt like a family atmosphere when you were playing like with people,
Yeah.
especially like to know that I don't know how to even say it. It just, you must have had like such a deep connection with the people who were listening to your music, especially in Iran.
Yes. Yeah. For example, the days that we had rehearse, it was very quiet and secret rehearse and shows, and closet-sized basement. Like a few people were just fitting hardly in it. Before we get home from like school or college or whatever, our friends were lining up behind the door of the rehearsing room waiting for us, and that was a huge passion to keep doing it, because people were lining up, people were waiting for us to come and start playing quietly in a two-story down the ground. So the passion has been starting from there, and then they've been recording our songs with the very basic digital cameras, that the beginning of digital cameras or smartphones, and then they've been posting them online. Or Yahoo Messenger was one of the major source of communication for us. We've been selling tickets on that Yahoo Messenger for our secret shows, and then putting some secret shows. It was amazing. It's just
What
you're a teenager, and you have no brain, and you just keep doing things.
what was the biggest secret show that you played?
Well, at some point we've been playing two sets each evening, and each set I think we had around at least 30-35 people in our just that tiny basement. Everyone was headbanging, sweating all over the place, and that one was one of the best memories, and one of the highlights. I think we played like 4 or 5 days. Each day is two sets, and each time's like at least 30 people, 35 people were showing up.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, crazy things.
With like being so censored out there, like how did you first discover heavy metal? Like what was that first album and like what kind of sense of freedom did you feel when you first heard that metal album for the first time?
Yeah, well, my family, my specifically my mother has been listening to a lot of like good music, like Pink Floyd's and other bands, Zeppelin and things like that. So I grew up in a kind of towards rock type of, environment. And then later on in the school with our friends and like satellites, well, we didn't have any satellites back in the time, so tapes and VHS, things like that. Um, Friends and families were sneaking those kind of like MTV video things into the country, and then we've been seeing them later on CDs and then satellites. That way we started, getting exposed to the music, to the good music. But the main one of the first type of like music, it was definitely Black Sabbath music, Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and then Metallica. Well, Metallica had a huge influence on everyone, I guess, including myself. And the second that you hear that song, your entire world inside, it's just started spreading out or shattering, you know.
What was the song that you listened to that like you were like, I gotta do this?
Yeah, I think it was Kill 'Em All, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, and I started to kill them all.
You
Yeah.
must be excited for the Metallica tour with Pantera.
Yes, actually, I have it on my calendar to get the pre-sale tickets tomorrow morning. So
Nice.
yeah,
I know, I'm excited for that too.
a crazy lineup.
It
Like
is.
2 days on each city. That's amazing. They've been always inspirational and influential. They're amazing.
They,
But they've
they,
been very quiet regarding all these things recently. It's sort of disappointing for me and whoever metalhead friends that I know, Iranian metalheads, they are disappointed. They need Metallica, they need other bands to talk about them. I'm actually planning on posting a video, putting a campaign together, and asking the fellow metalhead family to just be vocal. If you play heavy metal music against the stupid things and beliefs and against some fucking bullshit that government imposes to you, if you are a metalhead, if you play metal, this is the right fucking time for you to just be vocal about it, to do something about it. Why do you call yourself metalhead if you just want to remain silent and not even say anything about the fucking Ayatollah that, just what to tell you.
you know what? The more of us who stand together and speak out about all this bullshit going on in the world, and it's it's other countries too, which it's absurd. Like we can end this war, all these wars, all this chaos. We can through music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
People listen through music.
yeah, yeah. That's accurate. Yep.
What was it like one of a song that was like your mantra, like when you lived in Iran?
Well, a lot of songs by the band Death, Chuck Schuldiner, and then Slayer, and then Testament. I mean, I'm trying to remember the song titles. Of course, these are the things that always have been with me, but just right now, I got a blank memory, individual thought patterns, things like that. Those are the very mantra influential songs for me, to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also have a song called War Kids, and that like I can't even imagine what it would be like to be around all of that. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
what
Well, the plane on your childhood sky was just a warplane. It was just bombs and bullshit flying over your head and exploding things. These are the pictures and images of the childhood. Yeah.
crazy. How do you
Or
feel?
for nothing, it's just the war and killing, the genocides and killing humans for nothing, for having more money and more power. What the fuck? You can do it in the other way also. It's just you don't have to start being barbaric and kill people. It's just there are other options.
There are.
No, seriously, yeah.
There really are. That's it's so fucked up. It really is.
It's a shame that human being can get that much of nasty, that much nasty that doesn't have any fucking limit on it.
Yeah. It, it's disgusting,
It
but
is. Yeah.
and you're right. Yeah, it's all over.
Yeah, but thank to metal that helps us to
Yeah.
survive and keep doing it.
Metal, metal is the best. Like it, it really is. Music in general. I mean, it doesn't matter
Yeah,
what genre when you connect
yeah,
to something.
yeah.
There's
It's
something about metal though.
it's a healing process. It's a healing thing for everyone, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Looking at my other questions, like some of this interview is so enlightening. It, it truly opens your eyes to like the reality of what is going on in the world because you can see it, on the internet, on the news or whatever, but it doesn't quite register until you like
Yeah,
speak to somebody
yeah,
who's there.
exactly. Yeah. Thanks for this opportunity, actually.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. The,
Of course, I wish I was sharing a beautiful story that everyone can, enjoy, but these are the things, the reality that is happening. Yeah, it has been happening. And it is a responsibility of us, all human beings, to do something for this. If we see someone is getting killed in the street, yeah, definitely we need to be active. We need to get involved and do something. Like what has happened here in the States a year ago. But things like that, 100,000 times worse than that, has been happening every single day in the last fucking 45 years ago in Iran. Well, during this Halloween, there was a slogan going on in the Iranian community. They were posting, they were saying the word that, hey, this Halloween fantasy thing that you guys are, imagining, or these are scary things. Let's get scared and have fun. 10 times worse than that, 100 times worse than that. Real dangerous thing is a daily normal living of the people. It's a fucking normal situation of people inside Iran.
what was it like when you moved to America, like after getting away from all of that? Was it kind of like hard to
You know
integrate it?
what? You immigrate, but your homeland doesn't get separated from you. It goes with you. It remains here. I'm sorry. This is the second time that I'm just getting this emotional in live interviews. And the other day, I was feeling the same on having a live interview with another Iranian Farsi television. So things are heavy. Things are not easy, you know?
Metal can save us. Music can save us all.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hopefully, very soon this revolution gets the result, and things get changed in a best way for people in Iran and also all around the world. Because it's free Iran would be a best place for the entire world to go there to enjoy, to see its beauties, to see a real beautiful people, hospitable people, and a lot of history is there, like even older and more ancient than what you see in Egypt or other countries. Things are a lot older and more ancient inside Iran, in Iran as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I hope one day to visit there when there's peace over there.
yeah, definitely. It's gonna happen. There's no other way. People, they already made their minds. They got their divorce with this fucked up situation and government. So it's got its own ups and downs. It's like a sine wave thing, bad days and good days. But it's gonna happen very soon.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are all of my questions that I have. It's wow, thank you so much for this interview. It truly is like one of the, if not the most enlightening one I've ever had. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving this time, and hope everyone can enjoy the music, and then whoever beautiful people that hear something in our conversation, I hope they remain vocal about it. They don't remain silent. I hope everyone starts sharing the story and spreading the word all around the world with their people and with their friends, so more people get to know what is happening in the real world, not in the imaginary, circle of our limited daily living, go to work and pay bills and stuff like that. No, beyond those things, there are a lot of good and bad things happening in the world. So I hope you share this with all of your friends, whoever is listening to this. And thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening and blast some fucking Metallica.
Or our song. Why not our song?
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
That's revolution.
Awesome.
All
All right.
right.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it as well. Thank you. Yeah.